It's a different level of vibration, and we call it here, he calls it a stream of awareness, stream of consciousness. Down here in Louisiana, we call it the Bayou Self-Awareness. And if anyone can put it in the correct flow, in the correct direction, there's only one person that I know who can do that, and that's Peter Blum.
No pressure.
No pressure.
And now, straight from Woodstock, New York, it's Friday Night Live.
And you're on.
Yeah, I'm on. Okay, so you are welcome to be wherever you would like. I will say that this is a proximity thing. The sounds of the bowls will carry. The closer you are, the better. So get up close and personal, because this is a very...
Closer than this?
Closer to you.
Come on, sit on my lap, Shelley. You know.
I thought you'd never...
There are no, this is a particularly lovely, because it's, I'm so happy to be here, and I've been working with these instruments for about 25 years, these particular instruments, and they are my teachers. I am a disciple of the bowls, the singing bowls, and they have brought me to so many extraordinary places because of my affiliation with and my service through the bowls. I've gotten to go to Puerto Rico, to Hawaii, to California, to Canada, to Texas, to many places, and these are extraordinary sound creation devices, and I've played for groups of 50 or hundreds of people, or 30 people, or 20 people, and I like to think that I have a reputation at this point. And a year and a half ago, I gave an event in my hometown, and I had one person attend. Mm-hmm. So I had
profit in your own.
well, it's also about the second of the four agreements. Don't take anything personally. It's just, I said, and it was my dentist. He was the one who showed up, and I said, well, Bruce, obviously you're supposed to hear the sounds one-on-one, mano a mano, and because you'll be so moved by what I'm doing, you'll give me tremendous discounts on the next the next crown that I get. So I know some of you I've never met before. I'm Peter Blum. I come from that little town, that little famous town, Woodstock, New York, and I've been a musician all of my life, and I've been a hypnotherapist for the last 30 years, and I've sort of carved out this niche for myself. I go to these hypnosis conferences. That's where I met Mark and Shelley and Jillian and some of the other folks here, Padman, and I'm the bowl guy. I'm the guy who shows up, and it's very lovely, and it's often done after a long day. Here you're getting it as an appetizer. It's very nice. Just your introduction before you get going, but often at the large conferences, I do them after people have been sitting and processing a lot of, even though our profession is about the unconscious, a lot of the classes are fairly left brain. They're how-to and demonstrations and theory, and then you come here and I say, stop thinking. You don't need to understand anything. I can give you theories about how these things work, and maybe afterwards I'll talk a little bit about that. But it's mainly an experiential thing. It's mainly a non-verbal induction Sound is one of the earliest historically and prehistorically vehicles to bring people from our normal waking state into the other realms, the invisible realms, the places where we contact the Akashic records, or where we can travel. I tried to research when I found out about them. I was, as I said, I've been a musician all my life. I've played many, many instruments, and when I heard these sounds, I was like, what are those sounds? I have to find out about them. And I heard them in the 70s. I heard some recordings of them, but they weren't around. And then in the late 80s, I met someone who was playing them, and then I have a friend who has a shop where I live who imports things from Nepal and northern India, and they're called sometimes Tibetan bowls, which is kind of a misnomer because they're actually Himalayan singing bowls. They come from that whole area, and they come anecdotal because there's nothing in writing. And when I asked, thank you, Jillian. Yes, my first yawn. You get the first bell.
Thank you.
Says predates Buddhism. It goes back to the Bon practitioners, who were the very ancient, before Buddhism came to the Himalayas. So we're talking 2,500, 3,000 years ago. The Bonpo were very animistic and shamanic, and they made these bowls, and they're hand-hammered. More recent bowls are machine lathe, but an old bowl, you can see the blandishments and the hammer marks on it. And so I don't know, some of these bowls are probably a couple hundred years old. Some of them are more recent. But if you ask, anecdotally, they say the bowls were created for three purposes. Internal massage, and so back when my back was more limber and I could bend and stretch more easily, I was doing a lot more private one-on-one sound healing sessions with people where I'd have them lay down, and I'd put an array of bowls all around them and on their belly and thoracic region and by the joints, and play the bowls. And so it moves through the skin, and it's internal massage. The second primary purpose that the bowls were created is for synchronization. So that's a big principle. When we say, oh, we're in sync, right? Wasn't that a early boys band? In sync? Yeah, in sync, right. But when we're in sync, we're in synchronicity, synchronization, things are happening, we're in the right place at the right time. So, gentlemen, synchronize your watches, synchronize your minds. When we're in rapport with someone, we're in sync. So synchronization is an important principle. And the third principal idea that the bowls were created for was to travel without moving your body. So, yeah. So that's that. Now, these are much more recent. These are tuning forks. And this is I'm thinking, I'm not going to do these right now, Jillian. I think I'll use the tingshaws.
Maybe privately.
Yeah, maybe privately. Well, I'll have a table. I brought a bunch of tuning forks and some bowls and some books and stuff to sell and some CDs. So over the course of the weekend, you can come see me about that stuff. But the tuning forks are very good. I use them in my hypnosis practice. And these is a C and a G. And
Fifth.
Huh?
A fifth.
A fifth. Very good. We have a musician amongst us. It's known as a perfect fifth, or the divine interval. And when people hear these, one in each ear, like this, I'm going to go around. We have enough people here. I mean, few enough people that I can do this for you now. And you're going to hear this sound. And what this does is it tunes you instantly. Hearing this sound, one in each ear, causes you to go to the body to spike production of nitric oxide. So for those of you who have a scientific bent, medical information, nitric oxide is one of the body's natural stress deregulators.
Is there anything about the mind creating the third tone to make a chord?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
too? Is that-
yes,
yeah,
yes.
okay.
You'll hear a third tone.
A third tone.
Yeah, it's binaural. That's the principle of binaural. can you, I'll do this for clients before starting a session, and I'll say, just let me tune you here, and just hearing these sounds, will cause you, that's a very direct suggestion, right? Will cause you to relax, right? It doesn't matter which ear you hear which fork in. It's the most harmonious interval. The fifth. The Leonardo da Vinci, or was it Michelangelo? Who's the guy that drew the guy in the circle like this?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, right? Yeah. And so that was the divine proportions in the body, 2 to 3. And mathematically, that's what a fifth is. It's 2 to 3, which is Creator, God, whoever Goddess, whoever made this whole mess here, had a good sense of mathematics and proportion. Yeah, that's the other thing. If people have cell phones, please turn them on, because the ringers might fit in nicely with the sounds.
I just turned mine off.
I think that was sarcasm.
It'll be a wake-up call.
See, and most people have this response that you're having, so they smile when they hear the sound. Sound has an immediate and profound effect on us down to a cellular level. As in doing any form of body work or energy work, when I come in with a sound, whether it's a drum or a singing bowl or tuning forks, you always want to come into the person's energy field slowly and gradually, no abrupt movements. So you're entering the person's field to give them a gift of a sound with their permission.